Good morning everyone. Last night we stayed at the Paradise Inn at sunrise in Mount Rainier National Park, and we are going to go for a very early morning hike up to the Skyline Loop here at Paradise. So I'm here at this trail junction, and once again my early morning rainy hikes. Stay tuned because it will get light soon, but you're looking out for these little trail signs. So if you just want to go to Panorama Point, that's 1.7 miles, and that's the highest point of the trail. That'll give you an epic view. But my recommendation is to carry on and do the loop because it's all downhill after Panorama Point. So just under 2 miles of hiking up and then nearly 4 miles of hiking down. So it's a much easier hike once you've got there. But this is the trail this morning, so it's lots of dew on all the plants. Smells very fresh, and the little, just in the distance, is where we parked. So the sun is rising over in the east, and looking down into this valley there's another ridgeline, and beyond that there's a lot of cloud, low level cloud. Now there's a very good chance that's going to climb and rise up and engulf the mountain at some point, but fortunately the mountain is there. Now if you let's do this, if you've watched my channel before, you'll know I've got a video already on here of the Skyline Loop, and that was taken in August 22. And I saw a wolverine on the trail. So I'm completely aware that this is probably not going to be as good a video, in the sense of, like, by this point you would have already seen quite a lot of the trail, but I'm not filming too much until it gets lighter because you won't benefit from it. But this area is really nice if you want to just take a rest. There's like a whole circle here with benches all around, with an amazing view of the mountain just up top, and then, as I said, looking into the valley below. Now there's another section from here that goes up, and that's going to take us up towards Panorama Point. But this is a point where a lot of people do terminate their hikes. So if you're not up to a full day hike, but you want to come, we've done 1.5. So at this point we're 1.3 miles up the trail. So we only got 0.5 miles to get to the Panorama Point. You definitely work up a sweat. It's very steep, and because it's early in the morning we've got coats on and we are sweating, but I feel like if I take my coat off I'll probably be a little bit too cool. But I've turned off my headlamp now because I don't think we're going to need it anymore. The sky is really brightening up on the east side of the mountain. We haven't seen any wildlife yet, but I did hear a piker doing its meep. And the trail's really quiet, so if you are going to come up here, and you can come early in the morning, I definitely recommend it. While that first mile and a half was quite dark and you didn't really get much views, now that we're up a bit higher, the view has opened up anyway. It's definitely nice to be ahead of the curve with the crowd levels today, because I feel like we're going to get a bit more serenity and hopefully more chance of a wildlife sighting. But yeah, hope you're enjoying the video so far. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and let's go and do the rest of the trail. So right here is the, I believe, Nisqually Glacier. So you can see all the ice from the top cracking and thundering its way down. There's also a little waterfall, and that is all going to feed into this big glacier here, and that's going to go down into the valley, and way down there you can actually see the Nisqually River, and that all comes from this one amazing mountain. And just from this point alone, if you couldn't go on any further, I'll just show you now the views have opened up. There's Mount St. Helens straight ahead. Now just behind this sharp jagged peak in front is Mount Hood. Now you can't really see it from here, but once we get a bit higher we'll see it. And then there's Mount Adams, and then looking east. What do you think, Ben?
Incredible. Stunning.
Making our way up the final push now, up to Panorama Point, and you can see the Nisqually River and the bridge. And it's a gorgeous morning here, absolutely stunning. And there's a lovely glow on the mountain as the sun is rising up. Good morning, Rainier. And this is the last push now up to the Panorama Point, which is just up on this ridge. So the trail just winds around and goes over. And that's the hardest part of this trail over and done with. And just on Mount Adams, the sun is just hitting it now as well. It's going to be a beautiful day. That cloud that was in the valley seems to have slowly dissipated. So hopefully we'll get great views for the rest of our trail. So we're just approaching the Panorama Point now, and looking down we can actually see the Paradise Inn where we stayed last night, and you can actually see all of the trail of the Skyline Loop meandering through, coming past the glacier and then up to this section. So this is the trail junction. If you are trying to get even closer to the mountain, you can go to Camp Muir, which is like a base camp, and that goes up this way. But the Skyline Loop continues, and we're just 0.3 from the Panorama Point, and I just heard a meep of a piker, so let's keep our eyes peeled and see if we see any furry friends today. Wow. So just running across the trail, there is a grouse.
He's almost like in his pen there, you know.
So one actually, I love that they just run. There he is. Hey, Mr. Grouse. Oh, they look yummy.
Famous grouse.
So just coming across the ridge, we saw two more grouse, and we could hear them doing that womp womp that they do. And we saw a piker running through the rocks with a mouthful of grass. But I didn't try to get it on camera because they're so small, a GoPro will never pick that up. But we are just now approaching our viewpoint. Wow, look at this. So if you the high skyline just goes across here, and this is Panorama Point. What's really interesting is when we came yesterday there was a lot of smoke and we couldn't actually see the mountain, but you can actually see the layer of smoke down in the valley, and that's going to rise, I'd imagine, as the temperature warms up today. And you can see the Paradise Inn just down there, and then the trail that we're going to take along and back. Just coming up from Panorama Point, and we're going to loop around this really cool rock formation, which is very Skull Island-esque if you've been to Universal Studios Hollywood, Orlando. And then, if my memory is right, it's downhill all the way. But this is probably the closest you'll get to this mountain in this trail. Wowza. So I'm getting blinded by the sun right now, but this is the highest part of the trail on the high Skyline loop. So once again, just to show you, you can see the paradise in way down, and then this ridge here is the Panorama Point. So we've climbed up even more from there along the trail past the mountain, and now the trail's quite obvious as you head into the sun, and then you meander all the way around to get back to base. It's mostly downhill the whole way now. Now I hike this trail every year, but in 2022, it was around this time in the morning, I had a wolverine encounter on this trail. So if you haven't watched that video, do go over and check it out. But this trail is absolutely incredible, and I do recommend, if you've got the time, I think this is probably the prettiest trail in Mount Rainier, and there are amazing trails. I mean, I've also hiked the Wonderland Trail, which was amazing, but this trail really just gives you a bit of a best of everything in terms of views, as you can see. So the remains of summer's wildflowers are just about dying off up here at the high Skyline Trail. We did see a few lower down, and you can see some of the red that's coming now, and the fall colour is just coming out. There's a few more dying flowers there, so there is some remnants. But if you want to do this trail to see wildflowers, I definitely would recommend as soon as the snow has melted out. Now, some years this trail has been accessible in July for me. Other years I've not been able to fully navigate the trail without snow until mid-August. So the season is so short from when you can get out on the trail, when the flowers bloom and when they die. It's so short. It sometimes can be as little as 2 weeks that they peak for. So if you're flexible with your itinerary, then you should be able to make it. But just remember, in the summer this year, Rainier introduced a timed reservation system between, I think it was 7 AM and 3 PM, and that was every day in summer up to Labor Day. So just worth bearing in mind. Of course, I'm not sure what the plans are going to be for 2025 yet. I think they are currently consulting about that. So I'll keep you posted if I hear anything, with a big update on all the national parks in the new year, as the information we've come from. Lovely little waterfall there. And there's Ben walking into the clouds. There's a little bit of water on the trail, and that's stemming from just up here on the mountain, and the mountain's come back into focus now because it had disappeared slightly, but it's such a soothing sound. I mean, if you got really desperate on the trail, you could probably go up there and filter some water, because this is glacier meltwater, but there is animals up here, so definitely use a filter. Here's the middle. Yeah. So I normally take the Skyline Trail back to Paradise this way, but for a change of scenery, I've decided I'm going to take the Golden Gate Trail, just because it might just offer an alternative view today, because it was always nice to do something a bit different. It's also just under a mile shorter as well, so see what it's about. These are the remnants of once wildflowers, and this would have been bear grass. We're heading just down a few switchbacks to this, I guess, lookout point. I'm just going to peek over the other side, and then the trail continues in towards the mountain. But let's just have a little peek and see if we can see anything. So you can see just here in this amazing shot with the mountain, there's a huge marmot. There's actually 5, I think, in total that we've seen just on this grass verge. I've got some pictures which I'll pop in now for you as well. There's a bit of fall colour just coming off on the mountain there. There's actually a marmot even on the trail as we head down, and we can see this trail meanders all the way along, and then it's going to cut through in the meadows and take us back to the Paradise Inn. I'm really glad we took this detour now, because we hadn't seen any marmots. I also can hear pika at the moment as well, so this has turned into a good result. So all of the water that I was showing you earlier has all led down into this start of a falls, and it goes all the way down here, and eventually that will become Myrtle Falls, which we'll pass on our way back. It's so gorgeous in this park, and you know, every trail is amazing in Rainier, but I think the Skyline Loop is the one hike. If you've got one hike that you can do here, this has to be it. It's really interesting seeing it in fall, because I have only done it in summer when it's been like wildflowers and all that. I thought we might have saw some goats, so I'm a bit disappointed we didn't see the goats, but we've made up for it with like endless amounts of marmot. Yeah, another marmot encounter on the trail. Hello, my gorgie. Another one. These balls of fluff are absolutely everywhere today, and I love this. Hi, friend. Oh, I could smooth you, but I wouldn't, because that would be wrong. But you look so warm and fluffy. Hello. And then in the distance there is a pika meeping. It's definitely a wild morning here on the mountain. Get in your food. He's huge. Just come from this way, just looking back at that ridge we've just crossed down with the marmot, and we've crossed over this little waterfall and continuing on now the trail. The sun is out and it's a gorgeous day, considering how smoky it was yesterday. So let's face it. It was super smoky yesterday to the point where we could barely see the mountain from the Paradise Inn. So it's the fact that today has become so nice. I mean, there is still a haze out there, but it's definitely not too bad this morning. And the mountain is out, the wildlife is out, there's blue skies. I'm so warm in this coat, but yeah, we've had such a lovely morning on the trail. So we've got about a mile to go to get back to the Paradise Inn, and once again you can see, like most of the trails around here, the different trails cutting off and going up, and then ultimately the mountain. So looking back, we've come from all the way up here on the Golden Gate Trail, and now we're heading down, and this is where you connect up to the rest of the Skyline Trail. Just here, so it's just a bit longer and verges off that side, and you meet here just ahead of Myrtle Falls. Hi, good morning. here we are on the bridge to the falls. And that is one of the most iconic shots here at Mount Rainier, so definitely make sure you stop and check out Myrtle Falls on your hike back to Paradise Inn. The nice part about this trail is it's all paved now, all the way back to the parking lot and where we are parked at the Paradise Inn. The fall colours just starting to hit now around the trail. Now this will intensify over the next couple of weeks and get even more pretty. Do you know what I think there's so many berry plants all along the trail here, so many colours. There's purple, white, amber, red, a lot. But those berries, and they're all here, these white ones are berries as well. These are all going to be food for black bear in the hyperphagia time of this year. So definitely keep your eyes peeled if you come in the fall, especially early in the morning and in the evening, because they are seen. They're not like daily seen, but black bears do frequent this area. So definitely keep your eyes peeled, and you might get lucky. I still am yet to find my Rainier bear. I've seen so many bears in different parks, but never a bear in this mountain. So who knows when my time will come, but I'll keep trying. You can see the haze now from the smoke is starting to intensify. And here we are, just approaching the Paradise Inn. So it's 8:30 in the morning and we have hiked just under 5 miles in under 3 hours. Well, we are just going to stop now and have a little bit of a late breakfast, brunch type thing at the Paradise Inn before we pack up from our room, check out and head to the airport because we're flying to Bozeman, Montana for our Teton and Yellowstone adventures. So thanks for watching this video. Please do subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the upcoming videos. And yeah, see you soon.